Tracking temporal flux trail 9576. Computer, can you determine the location of the time disturbance?
Location of temporal flux trail 9576 is Gallifrey.
Really? How unusual. Nothing much out of the ordinary has happened here for countless centuries. Gallifrey is reliably and blissfully boring. Well, looks like that's about to change.
Cannot pinpoint source of temporal flux trail 9567 at this time.
Well then, there's nothing more to be done today, is there? Good. That means I can clock off work. Computer, save those last matrix entries, would you?
Workstation security code Theta Sigma. Saving to archive now.
So, temporal flux on Gallifrey. Maybe a cause for concern.
Cannot confirm.
No, I don't suppose you can you? Well, since there's nothing more to be done today, I don't suppose it would hurt to indulge my curiosity a little. Computer, tell me something about the causes of the French Revolution, would you?
Accessing archive. Causes of the French Revolution. The French Revolution had general causes, which were common to all revolutions of the West at the end of the 18th century. It also had particular causes, which explained why it was by far the most violent of these revolutions. The first of the general causes was the rise in number of prosperous merchants and professionals, many of whom desired political power. There was also a peasant class who wanted a better standard of living, including the right to own their own land. They worked on as tenant farmers. Furthermore, from the 1930s...
What are you doing, Doctor?
How could this be? You startled me.
You startled me? What?
You startled me, Archivist Prime.
And well I might. Have you finished the latest batch of observations?
Yes, just sending them through to your terminal now.
If you spent more time doing your job, you might actually achieve something worthwhile. I was only saying to the Cardinal Activist the other day that if you applied yourself, you could be promoted from senior researcher of possible events to deputy activist in a few decades. And then, maybe in a few hundred years, you might rise to be Archivist Prime yourself. After all, I can't go on forever.
I assure you, Archivist Prime, I'm doing my best.
Well, I think your best could be much better.
I'm sure they don't need me to do that.
Have a care. I don't much like your tone.
Well, making comments about my family isn't endearing you to me. My private life is not a point for debate. Sorry. But my family and I are not close. In any case, let us return to the question at hand. I have completed the task you set me, Archivist Prime. And then, I merely thought that in the few microspans I had left before I was due to leave for the evening, I would look into an area of personal interest. Surely nothing you could object to, yes?
Daydreaming about primitive planets? You think this is a good use of your time? And, more importantly, that of the resources of the Grand Archive of Gallifrey.
It is surely part of conserving the knowledge of the universe that we look at other cultures.
Here at the Grand Archive of Gallifrey, we do all manner of things. But your duty is to monitor the timeline for possible events. looking at the details of fixed time on a level 5 planet is most certainly not your job. And besides, they really are a very little interest.
Oh, you think so, do you? But that's what fascinates me. It's like looking at an ant trapped in amber. Yes, it would be wonderful to get a step further and observe it firsthand, to see it unfold, experience it.
I can't imagine any Time Lord would want to step inside history.
Forgive me, Archivist Prime, but it's not like stepping in a puddle. History won't soil our robes, you know. We may be lords of time, but we could still learn a little from some of the other people who occupy our universe.
Possibly from some of the high species. I grant you.
And from the lesser species too. For example, why does good, sometimes facing seemingly impossible odds, triumph over evil?
Evil? Oh. Come now, Doctor. That is of no interest to Gallifrey. There is no evil here.
I would that it were so. But those throughout the universe who do experience the effects of evil, well, surely we should try and analyze the causes of their suffering.
Investigate? Yes. I suppose we could. But intervene? Never. We cannot cast aside our most sacred law of non-intervention.
Oh, yes, indeed. There we do agree. We dare not change the course of history. And yet, the Celestial Intervention Agency does step inside history from time to time to tinker, thereby transgressing that law, with at least the presumed consent of the High Council. A bit of a double standard, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I suppose this is true. Not that I'm agreeing with this policy, personally. Well, I should return to my office. I've wasted enough time here. Think on what I've said. Demonstrate a greater commitment to your work. And remember, I'm watching you.
Objectionable woman.
Rather like being back at the academy, isn't it?
Oh, what is it about people today that they think it perfectly reasonable to sneak up on me?
I don't sneak. You know that. So what have you done to upset the Archivist Prime?
Do you mind?
Not much. You know she's right. You ought to have more ambition. You could make something of yourself, if you weren't so much of a dreamer.
Thank you, but when I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. You shouldn't have been listening. Anyway, what are you doing here, Ushers?
It's Rani. I have told you before, several times. In answer to your questions, I'm undertaking research. Something you're meant to be doing.
Yes, very funny, I'm sure. Anyway, what are you looking for? Maybe I can help.
I very much doubt it. What do you know about neurochemistry?
Well, not as much as you think you do, that's for certain.
I'll treat that comment with the contempt it deserves, Doctor. Ha! Doctor indeed. You're not the only one of the Decker to be made a doctor by the Academy. And only then at the second attempt. And yet, how pompous you are, insinuating that everyone addresses you by your title.
If you've quite finished insulting me, Rani, then you can buzz off and bother someone else.
Let's not fight! But think about it for a moment. All of us, all 10 of us, agreed that we'd change Gallifrey. You're a talented individual, and yet you're the only one of our group who's not making a difference. Scratch that! You're the only one apart from Drax not making a difference, and the least said about him, the better.
Oh yes, and what's so special about your work all of a sudden?
I was selected by the Presidential Committee to help with this research. They know quality when they see it, and they recognise potential too.
Now who's being pompous? Well, nice as it is to chat, I'm rather tired, and it's the end of my shift, so I'll bid you good day.
When you were in the academy, you had drive and determination. So, why are you wasting your time in this dead-end job? It doesn't make sense. It's not you. You know there are people who would support your nomination to the High Council, don't you? So, why not allow your name to go forward? Admittedly, you might not get any votes in the first round, but it will bring you to more people's notice. And then, maybe in a decade or two, you might begin to gather a wider support.
The High Council? Well, you really think I have a chance, do you? Well, fancy that.
I know that look. Do you have ambition? So why aren't you doing something about it?
My dear Rani, life is not nearly as simple as you suggest. This isn't like one of your experiments, you know.
Maybe so. But what about this job? Senior researcher into possible events. It may have some mild interest as a hobby, but it's a career. You're underselling yourself.
A moment ago you were calling me pompous and telling me I lacked focus and ambition. Now it's as if you're my election campaign manager. You're being rather inconsistent, Rani. Somewhat surprising for someone with such an acute mind.
Very clever, Doctor. Trying to divert my attention. However, I'm not letting you go. Is this job in the archives just a way for you to keep your head down and wait for the right time to act? Have you got a plan? Is the Master involved?
Oh, for goodness sake, Rani, your speculations are tedious and exhausting. There is no plan. Now good night.
You won't put me off that easily, Doctor. You're not the quiet bookworm you pretend to be. And if you are up to something, I will find out what.
Oh, what a day. First the Archivist Prime, then the Rani. A bit of peace and quiet would be most welcome.
Oh, is that you, Grandfather?
Susan! Well, whatever are you doing here, child?
Waiting to see you, of course.
Well, evidently, my dear. It's always nice to see you, child, but what's brought on this visit? I'm rather tired.
Oh, really, Grandfather? Have you forgotten? You said you'd let me see the latest segment of that video log from Earth. You know, about the French Revolution.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry, my dear, I got distracted and didn't complete the download. I was having a difference of opinion with the Archivist Prime.
Oh, Grandfather, you're not in trouble again, are you?
In trouble? Really, child, I'm not an errant schoolboy who's failed to hand in his homework. The Archivist Prime doesn't think I apply myself to my work as well as she'd like. She also thinks I should have a bit more ambition. Dreadful woman.
Well, some people would like to see you on the High Council. I think it's a splendid idea.
Oh, do you indeed, young lady? Well, in that case, you can help the Rani with my election campaign, can't you?
The Rani? Oh, you weren't talking to her, were you?
Oh, yes, you don't much care for her, do you? Well, she was in the archives this evening, footling about, so I couldn't avoid her. She gave me the benefit of her unsolicited opinion about my life, and I told her to buzz off. Satisfied?
I suppose. Let's hope she stays away. There's just something about her that makes me shiver. So, what shall we do tonight? Oh, what about watching that old video log of when we climbed the mountains of solace and solitude?
Oh, if you like, my dear. Oh, do you remember? You fell in a puddle.
And you were chased by a herd of pig bears.
Well, we didn't get much solitude on that holiday now, did we?
No, we didn't. But it was fun all the same. I'll program the video screen then. Shall I?
Oh, before you do, child, I would like a little refreshment, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, of course. Shall I program the food dispenser?
Yes, my dear, please do. You know, you're the only one of my family who comes to see me these days.
Sorry? What was that? I can't hear you.
Oh, nothing, child, nothing.
What would you like? E938 or maybe E220? That's rather popular at the moment. We could try some flavours from Earth again if you like. How about spaghetti carbonara or chicken tikka masala? Ooh, how about baked salmon? You liked that last time.
Oh, Susan, I'm utterly famished, child. You could give me fish fingers and custard for all I care.
Doctor, how is it that you've still not located the source of the temporal anomaly? Considering the size of the time spike registered yesterday, it cannot have just disappeared. I want you to go back and examine the data stream again. Gallifrey needs its answers. Are we in danger or not?
Really, madam, I fear you ask the impossible. It is in the very nature of flux to appear and disappear. I can only work with the data I have. However, I shall of course do as you ask.
Good. I look forward to receiving your report.
Oh, she's not going to let this go, is she? And I can't disguise the readings for long. What am I going to do, eh? Oh, what a pretty pickle I'm in.
In trouble again, are you?
Oh, it's you. Still consulting the archive, are you? Or have you come here simply to irritate me?
I finished my research yesterday because I am efficient, unlike some I could mention.
So, you've come here to annoy me, then? Well, congratulations, Rani. You succeeded. So, since you've achieved your aim, you can go back to the lab and fiddle with your chemistry set.
If you weren't so tetchy, you'd be easier to talk to. It might even be a pleasure.
Rani, I'm not here to talk. I'm here to work. I'm tracing something rather tricky at present. So if you can leave me to get on with it, I'd be very grateful.
Oh? Is there an anomaly in the timelines?
Yes. What of it?
Fascinating. The web of time seems to be in flux around the Time Lord. Have you traced which one?
Do you mind? You've not got clearance to look at this data.
Rules are for the weak-minded. Aren't you pleased I'm showing an interest in your work?
Well, yes, at any other time, perhaps. Oh, Rani, do let me get on.
Doctor, how are you? I was hoping to find you here.
Lorcansis? Oh, my dear fellow, what brings you here? I feel obliged to tell you that it's not a convenient time.
Yes, I gathered that when I asked the Archivist Prime where to find you. She's not the friendliest person, is she?
No, that would be an understatement, my friend. I'm afraid to say that being amiable would take up too much of her valuable time.
I appreciate the difficulties, but could I have a very brief word in private?
Oh, don't mind me, Doctor. I'll be here when you get back.
Huh, that sounds like a threat. Come on, Lorco, there's a spot over there where we can talk.
Ha! What a fool he's been. The Doctor knows about triple encryption. So why doesn't he use it to lock his terminal? Not that I couldn't break into it anyway. Given time. I'm in. Now, let's see if I can find what you were trying to hide from me. What? Surely it can't be. So is the Doctor's own timeline in flux? But such things are so rare. It would have been something of a massive scale to create such a ripple. I knew he was up to something, but what? Hello? What's this? You sent a false report to the Archivist Prime. Interesting. This conspiracy deepens by the minute.
I'm sorry to bother you, Doctor. Truly I am. But I need to confide in someone, and there are very few people who I consider trustworthy. Looking back on our days at the Academy, well, you, of all people...
Forgive me, Lorcansis, but I really do have only a few moments, so if you could get to the point, I'd appreciate it.
Not here. We might not be overheard, but it doesn't feel safe. Can you come to my apartment tonight after your shift?
Lorcansis, are you in some kind of trouble?
That remains to be seen. Please, Doctor, I need a friend. Will you come?
I shall, but be warned. I will listen to what you have to say, then make up my own mind about whatever mess you've got yourself mixed up in. Yes?
Of course. I'll see you later. And thank you. Thank you.
Curious. Of all the people of my acquaintance, I'd never have imagined him getting into any bother. Oh well, it just shows how little you really know people. Well, some people anyway. Rani, you're still here, like a bad smell. Do you mind vacating my chair? Thank you.
So? What did he want?
To talk to me, obviously. Which I shall do later. Now buzz off.
So, you'd rather hang around with someone bland and uninspired? I understand.
Oh, Rani, life isn't always about ambition.
It would be very empty without it.
Perhaps, perhaps.
I'll see you around, Doctor.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, come in, Doctor, come in. It's not much, but it's home.
Charming, charming.
Would you like a drink? Perhaps some synthetic tea? I should have invited you here before, but, well, we've both been so busy.
My dear fellow, calm yourself. Now why don't you sit down and take a few deep breaths and tell me all about it, eh?
Thank you, Doctor. As you know, things went well in Arcadia, but even I was surprised when I was recalled to the capital 2 years ago and appointed one of the custodians of the Omega Arsenal.
You're a good man, Lorcansis. Solid, reliable.
Thank you, Doctor. It's strange because those were the very words used by the General.
Well, she's right. You are. So what's changed?
4 days ago, the coordinator of the Celestial Intervention Agency came to the Omega Arsenal. He was talking to the General, and if I understood things correctly, they intend deploying the Hand of Omega.
What? But the only possible use of a stellar manipulator is to turn a star supernova. Omega used it to give us the energy for time travel. I thought it had been dismantled centuries ago.
The artifact is sentient. I don't think it would take too kindly to that. Anyway, should we ever lose the power of time travel, we would need the Hand to restore it. An unlikely scenario, I know. But Gallifrey can't take that risk. There was never any intention of dismantling the Hand.
Well, that does make sense, I suppose. However, you said they intend using it now. That doesn't make any sense. What possible reason could they have for doing so?
To destroy some impending threat to our security.
What could possibly make any serious attack on Gallifrey? Why, the transduction barriers alone offer us unparalleled protection.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I've no further information. Turning a solitary star supernova is no moral problem at all, but imagine if it was a sun. If that went supernova, its nearest planets would be vaporized, and all their countless life forms utterly destroyed.
Genocide on an unprecedented scale. It's too terrible to contemplate.
Every advance in technology comes at a price. Do you think it was worth it? Perhaps we'd better off confined to linear time.
Gallifrey without time travel? Well, not many use it to go gadding around the universe, I suppose. But it does define us. After all, it enables us to protect the web of time. We are the guardians of time, of a universe. A point you would not dispute, I trust, eh?
Certainly not. And what you've said all makes sense. But have you ever thought what the lesser races might think of our role? After all, we are self-appointed guardians. To them, we are probably dictators.
Well, I'll admit I've had some misgivings for a while now. Gallifrey is not what it was. It has grown stagnant through its petty intrigues.
That's as fair an assessment as can be made.
Well, Lorcansis, you've told me what you fear might happen. So what more is there to be said?
To be said? Perhaps little. To be done, much. I must stop the CIA from using the Hand of Omega. This would be the most serious violation of our policy of non-intervention.
Your passion for justice does you credit, my dear fellow, but you're talking utter fantasy. You cannot simply walk out of a time vault one day carrying the Hand of Omega with you.
I don't think getting it out will be as hard as you think, once the safety protocols have been disengaged.
But surely the security detail would...
The guards? No one is permitted to stay in any of the vaults at night anymore because so many of the artifacts are sentient and start talking to the guards. After a while it can send them quite mad. So, instead, there is an officer with 2 guards out in the entrance hall. Doctor, all it takes for evil to triumph is for a good man to do nothing. I intend being a good man and do something about it.
Oh, Lorcansis, you do understand what this would mean, don't you? If you're caught, it'll mean malfeasance, and that carries the death penalty.
A one-way trip to the dispersal chamber.
That's a very high price to pay for having principles, wouldn't you say?
The odds aren't all stacked against me. There is a way to leave the vaults without being seen once the shields have been disabled.
Oh, and how is that?
An abandoned service corridor on level 9. It's got a trimonic barrier. I've never been able to get through that. But you could. Your ring. It has the power, hasn't it?
My ring? Yes, it could probably open the door. But it might trigger 101 traps and alarms in the process.
I could sort out those ahead of time. I've been studying them over the past few days. This plan is not the result of a sudden impulse.
Well, it seems like you've thought of everything. Bravo. But you've one problem. You've built your whole plan around my involvement, and I haven't agreed to anything.
Please, Doctor, please. This isn't about my personal gain. It's about saving a world, a people, maybe several worlds.
Oh, Lorcansis, your integrity in this matter is not in question. It's your wisdom. Besides, I have to decide whether or not I can stand with you, and the matter is far from clear to me.
Do you want Gallifrey's greatest violation of its policy of non-intervention to be murder on a colossus scale? Well, do you?
Oh, of course not. But you must understand that you can't drop something like this on me and think I can make a decision as easily as choosing which robe to wear to work.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I've been thinking this over constantly since I first heard about it. It's all still a shock to you. I realize you need time to think it over.
Time we might not have. For all we know, the coordinator will go to the vaults tomorrow morning and retrieve the Hand of Omega, so we dare not delay. However, I beg you give me 10 minutes. I need to be certain of something before I commit myself to this hazardous venture.
Of course, my friend. I'll see you later.
Lord Lancastrians again. What are you up to, Doctor?
Oh, my apologies, madam.
Oh, Doctor. I thought you'd finished for the evening. What brings you back here so unexpectedly?
Oh, I'm not happy about that temporal flux issue. I must see if I can gather some more data on the matter.
This is a welcome change in your attitude, I must say. I admire your dedication to the duty. Well, carry on.
Yes, of course. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Archivist Prime.
Good night, Doctor.
So, what do the timelines have to say now, I wonder? Perhaps this business of the Hand of Omega is the cause of all this, fluctuation. So my future is still in flux. Oh, how annoying.
Perhaps if you made your mind up, the web of time would have settled down as well.
Rani, your sudden appearances are becoming disturbingly regular. What do you want?
For you to be honest with me, Doctor, and tell me what is going on. Perhaps I can help.
So you've been spying on me? What an outrageous liberty.
Doctor, we were friends when we were at the academy. Clearly we've grown apart since then, but I'm offering you help now.
Oh, Rani, this isn't just about me, so I cannot speak of the matter. Well, in time, I suppose it will all come out. But until then, my lips are sealed.
And does the Master know what you're doing?
He doesn't, and it's going to stay that way. As things stand, I've not seen him for, several months. So I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention any of this to him.
So, where does Lancosius fit into this mystery?
Oh, Rani. Ask as many questions as you like. You shan't get any answers from me.
You've changed. Oh, you're still the same man I knew in the academy, but there's something else now.
I woke up, Oshus. I saw what you and Koshai were becoming. The Rani and the Master. And I didn't like it. I didn't like what I saw in myself either. Neither of you have any scruples about the effects of your actions on others. You're both utterly ruthless. I can't live like that. I won't live like that.
Oh, I see. You think you can occupy the moral high ground, do you? And after some of the things you've got mixed up in when you were in the academy.
You're a hypocrite.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Yes, Rani, goodbye. And probably for the best.
Hello? Who is it?
It's me, Loco. Let me in, why don't you?
Doctor, is everything alright?
Well, what with your mad scheme to steal an artifact of unimaginable power, and the Rani stalking me, on the whole I'd say no.
What? The Rani? What does she know about this?
Calm yourself, my friend, calm yourself. She knows nothing of the hand. It's just that she's been dogging my steps of late, and it's just possible that she will continue to do so until she's discovered the reason for the temporal flux.
Temporal flux? Doctor, what are you talking about?
Oh, of course you don't know, do you? No. Well, now as good a time as any to tell you. There has been a time spike here on Gallifrey. This morning I was able to pinpoint its origin. A Time Lord. It's fortunate that it's my job to monitor such things because I was able to disguise this information. Mind you, it's not something I can get away with indefinitely. The Archivist Prime is sure to notice that the data stream has been tampered with. However, I suppose that won't matter after tonight. Because, my dear fellow, I am that Time Lord. Many years ago, an old hermit of my acquaintance told me that one day I would be caught up in an important and potentially catastrophic event. So I took the post of senior researcher into possible events, because it seemed the best way to get advanced warning. I think this is it. This was what the hermit foresaw. I shall help you, Lorcansis. You can rely on me.
Thank you, Doctor, thank you. Oh, I didn't notice the time. We must go now. You see, the vaults will go into night mode in less than 20 minutes, and then I won't be able to use my pass to get in again until the morning.
Well, don't just stand there. Let's get going. Oh, Loco! Wait! I need to stop.
It's okay, we're here. Through this hatch you'll find the service corridor leading up to the vaults on level 9. I'll take the elevator over there up to the main entrance of the arsenal. Once inside, I'll disengage all the shield protocols, so give me about 8 minutes.
That's not going to give us any time at all.
But we don't need any more time. That's the beauty of the plan. I'll leave by the main entrance as normal, and the whole facility will go into night mode. The guards on duty will seal the main door, but that will be the only thing alarmed.
Oh yes, of course. And meanwhile, I open this hatch and ascend to the vaults.
Yes, and I'll rejoin you as soon as I can.
This is all very well and good, my dear fellow, but once we get the hand, what are we going to do with it? You can't keep it under your bed, you know.
There's only one thing I can do. Steal a time travel capsule and leave Gallifrey forever. Doctor, I must go. I'll see you later.
Well, Lorcansis, that's your 8 minutes up. I hope you succeeded, or this is going to be a disaster. Well, so far, so good. Oh, this is surprisingly simple. Maybe I should change careers and become a cat burglar. Carefully does it. And I'm in. So, this is it. The time vaults. Now where, oh where, is the hand of Omega? Oh, Lorcansis, where are you? This would be so much simpler if you were here. Oh, so that's it. It must be. Yes, it is you, isn't it? I could feel something pressing gently against my mind. I wonder if you can understand me. Well, how about a little experiment? Hand of Omega. Follow me. Well, that's a turn up for the books. Right then. We're going on a little trip. Now just stay there, will you? I need to seal the portal as we leave. Right, let's get going, shall we? You know, this is going remarkably well for a heist. Well, for me at least. Oh, Lorcansis, where are you? What are you doing?
If you just step over here for a moment, sir.
What? Is there a problem, Captain?
Go and check the security systems.
Captain, I can assure you, everything is in order.
If you could refrain from moving about, sir. Well?
Everything's been switched off, sir. The whole system is down.
It must be some sort of mistake, an oversight. Captain, you know me.
Yes, sir, I do. And I know that for the past 2 years, you have left every evening exactly 1 hour before night mode starts. So it does seem suspicious that you decide to come back to the time vaults minutes before I lock up. On the very same evening we get a tip-off that our security system is going to be compromised. I'm hereby arresting you on a matter of state security. Take him to the Castellan.
But this is all a misunderstanding. Please, believe me. Surely we can sort this out.
Sir, are you resisting arrest?
Arrest? Arrest? But you have no need to arrest me. I can't believe this is happening.
I've told you to accompany these guards to the Castellan. If you're innocent, you'll be released.
Watch out, he's reaching for something. Ah! What was it? What did he have?
Looks like his security pass. You shouldn't have fired. This is a disciplinary matter now.
Oh, come now, Captain. I think you've acted for the good of Gallifrey. After all, I did tell you that the homeworld security was in danger. It may be unfortunate that you weren't able to question Lancasius, but this was probably for the best. After all, he was resisting arrest. I can testify that.
Yes, I suppose he was, wasn't he? Gallifrey thanks you for your service, citizen.
Oh, just happy to do my bit. Just out of interest, was there anyone else in there?
No, Mum. No one at all.
Grandfather, it's only me. Grandfather? Are you there? He's usually home by now. Where could he be? Grandfather? Oh, what's this? I've never seen it here before. Oh, it feels strange. Almost as it were alive. Oh, there you are, Grandfather. I was beginning to worry. Where have you been? Oh, goodness, are you hurt?
No, child. No. There's no need to worry. Look, here I am, safe and sound. Oh, please get me a glass of water.
There you are, Grandfather.
Oh, thank you, my dear.
Whatever's the matter? You're as white as a sheet.
Lorcansis has been murdered.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. But how?
I'm not entirely clear on the details, my dear. In fact, that's why I was out. Lorco and I were due to return to his apartment after we left the Omega Arsenal, but he never showed up. Admittedly, I panicked, but I came home bringing this casket with me for safekeeping. And then I went out again to see if I could find my old friend.
Grandfather, whatever were you doing at the Omega Arsenal?
That would require a long answer, Susan. So let me begin by asking you a question. What do you know about the Hand of Omega?
The Hand of Omega? Well, it's a stellar manipulator. Omega used it to give us the gift of time travel by turning a star into a black hole, which then became the Eye of Harmony. All the time travel capsules draw their power from the eye. So, the hand is a good thing, isn't it?
You are partly right. However, there's more to it than you said. Consider this. That same technology could also be used to wreak havoc by destroying countless peoples and planets.
Oh, that would be awful. I can't even begin to imagine such a thing.
Because you have a pure heart, my child. Would that everyone on Gallifrey were the same. The Archivist Prime was only saying to me the other day that she doesn't believe that any form of evil exists here on Gallifrey. Foolish of her. After all, there is a little darkness in everyone. If you look hard enough.
Evil on Gallifrey? Oh, I do hope not.
Oh, Susan, the heart is a devious thing. Who can pierce its secrets? Cruelty, gossip, ambition. Oh, they're just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak.
We're always being told this is paradise, and how lucky we are to be Time Lords.
That's just propaganda. Need I remind you of the treatment of the Shobogans? Or even Gallifrey's terrible past?
The Dark Times. I can't bear to think about it.
Oh, we can't ignore the past, my dear. Otherwise, how would we ever learn not to repeat its mistakes? Anyway, we've moved away from the main point of this conversation.
Oh, yes, that's right. You asked me what I knew about the Hand of Omega. Why did you want to know that, Grandfather?
Because I need you to understand the enormity of what has happened and its probable consequences.
Grandfather, you're scaring me.
And well I might, my dear. You see, Lorcansis discovered a CIA plan to deploy the Hand of Omega against another species. He opposed this measure, and so do I. So we took it upon ourselves to remove this temptation from out of Gallifrey's reach. To be clear, we've stolen the Hand of Omega. And there it is, humming away to itself in a standby mode.
Are you saying that this casket contains power from the Dark Times? Grandfather, this is illegal and terribly dangerous. The Coordinator will be furious. You'll be arrested and... Oh, I don't know what he'll do to you. Oh, why did you have to do it, Grandfather? Why? Why?
Susan, get a hold of yourself. You're no use to me if you allow emotion to cloud your judgment. There was an imminent threat to the law of non-interference on a colossal scale, and Lorco and I deemed it necessary to act before it was too late. The information gathered from the Matrix was very clear.
But surely there was another way.
Think about it logically, Susan. The Celestial Intervention Agency was set up by the High Council. It works with its blessing. Mind you, these days the High Council has become too decadent to be effective. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was revealed that the CIA is hiding in the shadows, pulling their strings. Sadly, no one on the Council can be trusted.
No government is perfect. I understand that much at least. Wouldn't it be better to try and change things from inside? Oh, join the High Council yourself, Grandfather. You would be wonderful. I know you would.
Oh, no, child. Believe me, the support for my nomination is far outweighed by the numbers who oppose it. No, joining the Council is not the solution. Besides, it's too late for that. I have made my stand.
I know you have principles, Grandfather, but to commit a crime...
Yes, child, the lesser crime of theft, to prevent the greater crime of genocide. My conscience is clear.
So, I suppose you'll have to hide. It's not ideal, is it?
Ha! Oh, without a doubt, but I can't let that worry me. There's far too much at stake.
You won't be able to hide for long. Oh, maybe you could go to the Sherbogans. You always got on well with them.
Oh, no, I couldn't put them at risk. It wouldn't be fair. The High Council would deal with them severely. And let's face it, they've been looking for a good excuse for centuries. So regrettably, there's really only one course of action open to me. I shall follow Lorco's own plan. I'm leaving Gallifrey. I must. It's the only way to put the Hand of Omega beyond the CIA's reach.
Oh, surely there's another way.
None whatsoever. It's this, or capture, trial, and, vaporization.
Then why not give the hand back? Leave the casket in the corridor somewhere to be found by the guards.
No, 1,000 times no. If the CIA gets the hand back, then Lorco will have died for nothing. They will deploy the hand, and then there will be untold ruin wreaked upon the cosmos. This must be presented at all costs. No, I'm sorry, my dear. I just feel that the fate of Gallifrey itself is tied to this decision, and it weighs heavily upon me. But it will not divert me from the course I have set.
I'm going to miss you, Grandfather.
Oh no, my child. If I go, you must go too.
What? Leave Gallifrey? I couldn't. Oh, Grandfather, I love you dearly, but I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Think about it logically, child. It's the only logical course of action. You do still trust my judgment, don't you?
Of course, Grandfather, but why should I go? I haven't done anything wrong.
Oh, my dear child, do you think that will matter to the CIA? My dear, I can't leave you here. Surely you realize that. The High Council will use you as leverage to get me back.
Grandfather, I could never betray you, never.
Oh no, not intentionally. But the CIA would use all manner of machines on you to make you betray.
Even if they tortured me, I wouldn't give in. I just wouldn't.
Admirable, my dear, but rather foolish and probably futile.
Oh, Grandfather, if they scanned my mind, they'd know the truth. That I tried to make you stay. Tried to get you to give back the hand.
Susan, you're not listening. Things have gone too far. Once the High Council discovers that I have the hand, they'll be after me, and anyone associated with me. Somehow, I don't think the Chancellery Guard will be letting us off with a slapped wrist. They will shoot first, and ask questions later. No, all our relatives will be under suspicion. Everyone will be disgraced. There are some of the leading families of Gallifrey who would like nothing better than to see the downfall of the House of Longbarrow. I would wish to spare you that, my dear Susan, and the only way to guarantee it is to take you with me.
Very well, Grandfather. I'll do as you say, but...
But what?
It's just... I'm scared.
Oh, Susan, my dear child, so am I. So am I.
I never imagined I'd ever see anything from the Time Vaults. I think the casket is rather creepy. It's like the Hand of Omega knows it's been stolen.
Ah, your intuition serves you well, Susan. As well as your, telepathic abilities. The Hand is sentient, after a fashion. Wait a moment. Clear your mind, and then reach out. See if you can get a clearer sense of the Hand's intent.
I'm not sure it's working, Grandfather. All I can sense is a feeling of curiosity.
Well, I'll take curiosity over animosity any day. Well, let's get going. We really haven't a moment to lose, you know.
How are we going to get into the repair yard?
Oh, it has very low-level security. It shouldn't be a problem. Especially as I have this.
Your ring?
I can use its power to spring this lock. Let's leave the casket here for the moment. We need to check that the repair yard is empty.
That's a relief. So what do we do now?
Oh, very simple, my dear. We steal a ship.
Steal a ship? Oh, Grandfather. First the Hand of Omega, and now a time travel capsule. Well, I suppose there's no other choice, is there?
No, my dear. There really isn't.
They all look very plain. Just like rather large storage cylinders.
Yes, I suppose they do. Very, unremarkable. But able to blend into any surroundings. Imagine that. This one, I think.
Why this one?
I don't know. There's just something about it. Let me check there isn't a technician in there. I don't want any difficult conversations.
What about the casket? If someone should see it in the corridor...
Oh, Susan, really? All these questions. It will only be there for a few minutes. Now do let me get on.
Oh, come on, Grandfather. What are you doing in there? Oh, Grandfather, there you are. I was worried. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing's wrong, my dear child. It's just that a Gallifreyan time travel capsule has a whole world of wonder inside its walls. Transcendental dimensions. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
So, was it empty? Of people, I mean.
Eh? Oh yes, I accessed the flight computer and checked for life signs, and thankfully, it only registered me. Now enough dilly-dallying and questions. Help me get the casket on board while we still can. Now, let's see how you are, shall we? Eh?
That didn't sound good.
Well, it's a museum piece, I suppose. I'm surprised it's still around and wasn't scrapped decades ago. Ah, that's interesting. And helpful, too.
What have you discovered?
That this time capsule has been deregistered.
Is that important?
Oh, my dear child, of course it is. Especially for fugitives like us.
Fugitives? I suppose we are. So, what's so special about the deregistered time capsule?
It means it'll be much harder for the CIA to trace its passage through the time vortex.
Do you know how to fly a TT capsule, Grandfather?
Eh? What? Oh, I know some of the theory well enough, but the application... We may well need the ship's manual before we're through.
Do you want me to go and find it?
Eh? Oh, well, maybe later. We haven't the luxury of time. We need to make our escape. So we'll just have to manage as best we can. Now, dematerialization sequence. Ah, yes. Yes, power rising normally. What a relief. Oh, Susan, hang on to something, my dear. This could be a bumpy ride.
Something wrong?
It's the repair shop. What kind of idiot would try and steal a faulty TARDIS?
Well, a textbook takeoff, even if I do so myself.
Well done, Grandfather. Well done.
Thank you, my dear. Yes. Temporal orbit achieved.
I shall miss Gallifrey.
I shall too, Susan. In my own way.
Are you all right, Grandfather?
Oh, I was just thinking about poor old Lorco. He was a man of integrity, and he paid a terrible price for his principles. It set me to wondering, why does good ever prevail against the odds? It's not the best approach, considering all the terrible things that happen in the universe.
I suppose, if enough people were good, it would make the universe a better place.
The law of accumulation. Yes, indeed. Making things better. It's a nice dream, Susan. But I wonder if it ever can become a reality.
So, where to now?
Well, for the moment, nowhere. We should be safe enough remaining in the temporal orbit in the vortex. Just for a while, at least. Until I've had time to master these controls. And then... well, we can go anywhere and any when. So, what do you think of that then, eh?
Oh, I do feel excited, Grandfather. I imagine we'll see such wonders together. But I suppose we'll also face great dangers, and that frightens me.
Ah, yes. Wonder and danger. The stuff of exploration. But think about it a moment, Susan. It's no great surprise, my dear. Because that's what it means to be wanderers in the fourth dimension.